So, the most interesting thing that I found in the super secret folder, by the way, the order of the password was, I got it here somewhere, LKE271, TYR299, ODN314. That's the order. And the most interesting thing, apart from all the concept art and everything, all the inside knowledge from the dev team, is Herbert's lost diary, found lying in a coffin at Daniel's apartment. And there are some recordings associated with it as well. There are 3 entries: 17th of May 1839, 20th of May 1839, and 22nd of May 1839. So let's go ahead and play these.
17th May, 1839. Early afternoon. It has come to my attention that there's been an accident. Daniel, my research assistant, has been trapped inside the burial chamber. All men are ordered to lift the massive stone hinder. Recovered Daniel after 1 hour of entrapment. After some preparation, the workers hoisted the heavy stone with block and tackle. Daniel is delirious, and his mind is slowly recovering. I've decided to have him leave for England. It would be foolish of me to risk not just his life, but the expedition's success by keeping him here.
Okay, so he was scared that because he was going a bit mad that might spread through the ranks, so he got him to fuck off.
20th May, 1839. Those imbeciles! How dare they sacrifice my expedition to their superstition? The camp is in chaos, and they blame the orb. They won't get their hands on it. I shot one of them to put them in their place.
Fuck.
It can't be helped. They are animals, all of them. They killed 4 men in the most gruesome way. Their skinless bodies torn apart. They say the desert took them. But I know murder when I see it. I have sent Abdullah to contact the French in Algiers.
Dude. Fucking, he shot a guy. Fucking shot a guy. Dude. Holy shit. Where did Raphael go? Shit, it closed. Fuck, I'll have to put the password in again. Okay. Super secret. Open. Okay. Password. It was LKE. 271. TYR. 299. ODN. And 314. Okay. Herbert's lost diary, and here's the 3rd entry.
22nd May, 1839. That thing is after me. It's been hunting me for days, but I keep out of its trail, so I will persevere. I can see a settlement at the edge of the desert. I'm getting closer. I can see it, but it is not me. It is Abdullah. Through his eyes I see. His mind I hear. Confined to myself, I see only death, dressed in the orb's darkest shadow.
So he accidentally used the orb and was seeing through Abdullah's eyes, who had been fucked up and running away. Fucking damn it. And Herbert died. Wherever the fuck he went. Rip Herbert. That guy was kind of cool. Because, yeah, there's actually, if you open the, oh, that's just going to run the whole game. Okay. Let's, yeah, whatever. Yep, okay. We will open the game launcher, and we will open the tab that says remember. Because there is an awesome backstory to this game. I have read through it myself, and, yes, hello. I wonder if this is showing up. It might be. Let's have a look. What if I do this? Something seems to have happened. I don't know what. Can't seem to see what I wanted to see. That is rather strange, is it not? Yes, hello. Well, what if I do this? Okay, and this will be... Yes, hello. Hello. Is this gonna work? Is that working? I don't know if that's working. Ow. Nope. Why can't I see that? That is so strange. No, I do not want to use Edge as my default browser. So what if, no. No, that just opens it again. Okay. Ah, okay. That works. That works. Okay. And then we can do this. Remember, Amnesia, The Dark Descent. By Michael Hedberg. Illustrations by Rasmus Gunnarsson and Jonas Steinek. So you'll get to know you get to know a little bit more about Herbert, one of his friends. And you'll get to know a little bit about Johann Weyer, and you'll get to know a little bit about who Gabriel is. So, Hassel Garrick. Outsiders never seen much crime, but there was a dark period spanning from the early winter of 1702 until the late summer of 1704. During these years, no less than 39 men were arrested and locked up in Castle Brandenburg's dungeons. In most cases, the criminal's family would be banished from the land, effectively cutting the already dwindling population of Altstadt with 86 souls. The magistrate's office has almost no records detailing these crimes, as most arrests were handled by an unknown nobleman named Wilhelm, Klaus Gottschall, University of Königsberg. The magistrate shuffled through the documents on his desk. Every now and then he would find something, adjust his glasses, and try to decipher the century-old handwriting. I don't know what to tell you, Herr Gottschall. Please, call me Klaus. Herr Klaus, there doesn't seem to be much there. I'm aware. The magistrate leaned back in his chair, waiting for an explanation. Klaus reached into his bag and produced a thick book and placed it on the desk. Are you familiar with Heritage by Ludwig Kleist? The magistrate feared a long-winded lecture from the historian sitting across the desk. Does it matter? He answered, realizing how rude it must have come off. Klaus looked confused. Can I get you a drink? Continued the magister, hoping he could redeem himself. He quickly got up and headed over to a cabinet and fetched 2 glasses and a bottle of liquor. Thank you. It's just that Herr Kleist has done most of the thorough investigation into the fate of the House of Garrick, explained Klaus. Who? The magistrate began to pour the spirits. Wilhelm, the Vigilant. He was from the House of Garrick. Ah, of course, said the magistrate, still confused. I want to see where he left off. I see. Where exactly would that be? The book doesn't really reveal what happened to Wilhelm. It only briefly touches on a few of the cases he worked on during his time in Oldstadt. I want to try and find out what happened to him. They both raised their glasses and nodded in silent cheers. Fair enough. What can the magistrate's office help you with? 2 things. I would like to know if there's anything which supports the claim that Wilhelm was working for the Baron of Brandenburg in order to quell the rise of crime. Wilhelm remains unknown by most, and Kleist argues that he might have been working for the Baron to gain influence in higher circles. Well, that I can tell you by simply looking at the wall. The magistrate stood up and gestured towards a wall of framed documents. These are all the proclamations issued by the Brandenburg barony since... The magistrate went in for a closer look at the document to the far left. Since 1599, and none of them mention such a partnership. Klaus studies a handful of framed documents for a moment. Excuse me, but it doesn't really prove there was no deal. Rather, the barony had been a quiet lot. Not quiet, private. If there was ever such a deal, the magistrate's office wouldn't know. My point being, I cannot help you. That's a shame. You could ask for an audience with Baron Alexander. I have, but I haven't heard back. Lost in thought, Klaus walked over to the window and looked outside. He watched the window on the town square go about their daily life. This is how he preferred to observe the world, from behind a protective window pane. What was the other thing? Asked the magister. Excuse me? Before you said there were 2 things you wanted to help with. I need the documents concerning the fire. Klaus stepped outside into the square. He took a deep breath, trying to control his discomfort. His eyes jumped across the scene. The laughing young women carrying bags of flour to the bakery. The boy bringing out one of the horses in front of the inn. The priest waving to an elderly woman. Klaus turned his head towards the sky and took another deep breath. Open spaces always made him nervous. He knew it was silly, but he couldn't control it. Klaus hurried over to the carriage and climbed inside. The carriage headed south in search for the old farmstead described in the documents. On Thursday, 28th of September, 1704, there was a fire which consumed a barn a few miles south of Altstadt. It was Wilhelm's last case. The documents procured from the magistrate's office contains a handful of testimonies from witnesses, but it lacks a final statement from Wilhelm. The fates of Wilhelm and the arsonist have never been fully disclosed. A sheriff from Königsberg was sent to investigate Wilhelm's endeavors, but he returned early winter, 1704, reporting that crimes had dropped in Altstadt and that there was no trace of the nobleman. Ludwig Kleist, the Order of the Heritage, goes to assume the best for all the parties. It stands to reason that we lack information from about half of Wilhelm's life. In 1704, when he was but 34 years old, we find the last documents detailing his efforts. Wilhelm had for 2 years been working for Baron Alexander of Brandenburg as a secret lawman. Baron Alexander, being a knight of the prestigious Order of the Black Eagle, must have realized that the rising crime could not be left to the magistrate and the sheriffs in Königsberg, and acquired assistance from the decorated soldier from Garrick. This arrangement was most likely not administered by the king, at least not officially, and if investigated would fall apart from a legal standpoint. In 1704, a sheriff from Königsberg was sent to Altstadt to question Wilhelm about the civil arrest he had undertaken. It seems safe to assume Wilhelm was made to cease his efforts, but was allowed to leave on his own accord, as no documents details this meeting. Considering that the arrival of the sheriff coincides with Wilhelm's last case, this fact seems glaringly obvious. Excerpt from Heritage. Ludwig Kleist. The carriage turned up on a smaller dirt road. Klaus couldn't read any longer as the cart started to bob from side to side. He thought about Kleist's words. He really enjoyed reading Heritage, but there was so much speculation. Master Gottschall, we have arrived, called the driver. Klaus took a breath and went outside. Countrysides didn't bother him as much, as there wasn't too many people around. He could relax. There were 2 houses standing and one being built. One of the men working crossed the yard and approached the carriage. "Hey there! Herr Stoss?" asked Klaus. "There is no Stoss around here. My name is Zimmermann." "I see. Do you mind if I look around? I'm from Königsberg. I'm investigating the fire." "Fire?" "Yes. In 1704 there was a large fire here." Zimmermann laughed. 1704? That's almost 70 years ago. "Yes, I'm well aware." "Okay, so it's probably 1769 or something like that." "Of course, come." Zimmermann was holding back his laughter. "What's your name, Sheriff?" "Klaus, but I'm not a sheriff, I'm a historian." "Now that sounds about right." The side of the fire was considered too much of a hassle to clear, as it was still littered with pieces of burned wood. Zimmermann wasn't concerned, as it worked just fine as a pasture. Klaus wasn't sure what he was looking for, but was hoping he would turn up something. He looked around the grassland, towards the forest, and back at the farmstead. The men were working on the house while the driver had lit a pipe. "What am I doing?" he thought. He looked at the documents detailing the event again. He tried to imagine it play out in front of him. The 2 standing houses were most likely from Stoss's farm. Klaus was standing where the barn stood. The farmhand named Emil torched the barn with his master inside. The fire quickly spread. Wait a minute. The barn was really large. This must have taken a long time. How come the farmer didn't save himself? And how did Wilhelm show up so quickly? Wilhelm knew Emil was up to no good. He had one of his men follow Emil that night and caught him as he torched the barn. After alerting the family, Wilhelm's men had fetched his master to arrest Emil. Statement of Dorothea Stoss. Klaus returned to Altstadt, his own suspicions as unfounded as Klaus's fairy tale, but there was something strange about the whole ordeal. He pushed open the heavy door leading into the church. The priest was lighting some candles as the cloudy afternoon left the church in the dark. "Father," called Klaus. "Welcome, my son. I need your help. God answers those who pray." "Well, yes, this is more worldly. I need insight into the church records. I need to know what happened with Dorothea Stoss." "What happened to her? Whatever do you mean?" "I need to know what happened to the farm after the fire," pressed Klaus. "I'm not sure what you're talking about, but Dorothea lived with her daughter Anna for years here at Oldstad. She passed away, must have been 15 or 20 years ago." "Her daughter? Is she still alive?" Dorothea's daughter Anna married into the Koch family in 1718 and moved away from the farmstead. A little more than a decade later, Dorothea moved in with Anna. The farmstead fell into disuse and the land was left unattended for 20 years until it was sold after Dorothea's death. Klaus smiled at the treasure trove of information the church archives turned out to be, but there was still little about the actual event or traces of Emil the farmhand. There was only one way to go. He had to find Aunt Koch and hope she had something to say. She was 6 at the time of the fire, and with a bit of luck the event had made an impression on her. Klaus went outside into the square. He followed the side so he didn't have to cross it. He felt enough excitement already so he didn't need another panic attack. He turned down the street and dodged a farmer with a cart of turnips, heading into town. Anna was a fairly wealthy widow, living with a maid in a modest but well-kept townhouse. Klaus straightened his jacket, brushed off the dust from his sleeves, and knocked on the door. The maid opening the door was a cheerful middle-aged woman. Klaus was invited inside. "May I offer you something to drink? Are you hungry?" "Thank you, but no thank you. I was hoping to see Anna Koch." "Of course. Come this way." The maid showed Klaus into the upstairs drawing room. Anna sat in a rocking chair facing the oriel window. The room was decorated with paintings and porcelain. A fine carpet was splayed across the polished wooden floor. The fireplace cracked comfortingly and immersed the room in a warm glow. "Anna," said the maid, "this young man wanted to see you. Would that be all right?" "Yes, of course. What can I do for you?" "Frau Koch, my name is Klaus Gottschall. I'm from the university in Königsberg. May I ask you a few questions?" "Please, have a seat." Klaus sat down on the robust chair next to her. He looked outside the window. The street outside was nothing but ordinary. One-story houses lined the opposite side of a street. A single sign belonging to the town's cobbler was the only thing breaking the monotony of residential homes. "I like watching the world go by," said Anna. "I feel the same." They sat for a moment, watching the street below and the forest beyond the town. The sun was setting and the waning moon was rising. "Do you remember the fire at the farm?" "Oh, dear, I haven't thought about that for years. Why do you ask?" "I'm trying to find out what happened to Wilhelm and the farmhand." "Emil!" She jumped in. "He was such a sweet man." "Really? I'm surprised you would say that." "How so?" "He killed your father." "Don't be ridiculous." "Sometimes Emil had to sleep alone inside the barn. He was 20 years of age, but still afraid of the dark, so I would sneak him some lamp oil so he could burn in a tin bowl. He fell asleep with the fire still burning. Later he woke up, screaming his lungs out. The barn was on fire. The entire family quickly gathered in the yard, but father, being the man he was, decided he was going to save the animals inside. As you well know, he never came out. Emil was crying hysterically. I tried to comfort him, as I didn't yet realize what had happened. Later, that Wilhelm fellow arrived with his men, telling Emil that he would have to come with them. Us children were sent inside, but mother spoke to the lawman and later wrote a statement to the magister in town. Anna Koch, formerly Stas. Dude, that was in 1704. That guy was 20 years old. The events of Amnesia unfold in 1839, and the arsonist talked about this event, which means he's been kept alive since 1704. He was 20 in 1704. He would be 120 in 1804. He was 150 fucking 5 years old. He was 155, and Daniel killed him. Whatever happened to Emil? Oh, I would say he was rebuked in some manner, but it was an accident, and everyone knew, so I can't imagine him. Being punished except by his own sense of guilt. Klaus considered telling Anna about the harsh words her mother had written about Emil. They most certainly would have sentenced him to a few years in prison. What could he have possibly gained from telling her, and what would she do with such information? Klaus decided to keep his words to himself. What is left, he thought. There is only one more place to go. Castle Brandenburg. As Klaus's carriage rolled through the main gate and into Brandenburg's courtyard, he got the sense of abandonment. Everything was so quiet and serene. Did anyone really live here? Klaus shut the carriage door behind him and looked around. The courtyard was paved in cobblestone, not the rigid square form like at the university in Königsberg, but the more natural stone found on a rocky seashore. The castle towered in front of him, a magnificent Gothic structure with distinct windows and elaborate parapets. "Shall I wait, sir?" asked the driver. "Please, I shan't be long," answered Klaus. He made his way to the large gate and tapped the heavy door knocker with as much grace as he could. Okay, I'm getting hungry, so I am going to fucking get some food. And then I'll continue reading this because it's cool. Old friends. Herbert made his way through the busy Casbah streets of Algiers. His pale skin burned in the relentless African sun, and breathing the thick animal stench mixed with spices and incense was exhausting. It was no place for tourists, but Herbert had important business which could not be solved elsewhere. The old town was a labyrinth of narrow streets going up and down the hill. Finding a way was anything but easy. To keep the peace and control over the city, there were soldiers in every corner, or rather it was supposed to be. The Casbah remained a bastion for rebels, and simply posting guards would not help, as they could easily be picked off by assassins. Instead, there were large patrols of 15 or more men marching up and down the already crowded streets. Even as a European, Herbert was not spared from harassment. He was repeatedly stopped by patrols asking for papers, and had to listen to their friendly advice about not fraternizing with the locals. The upside of all of this is that his French had improved tremendously these last few weeks. Faraj stood outside the mosque, waiting for his foreign friend. He was happy and excited, but did everything in his power to avoid appearing giddy in front of the French patrol. He knew how dangerous the city had become since the French arrived, and did not want to draw attention to himself. Tension was high, and if the French soldiers would suspect that something had gone awry, they wouldn't hesitate to clear the streets and imprison anyone who protested. "Faraj!" said a pleased voice from behind him. "Herbert!" Faraj hugged his friend. They stood there for a moment, clapping backs brotherly. "So many years, my friend, so many years," said Faraj. "I'm so happy to see you again, but this is not the place for pleasantries. Do you have somewhere we can go?" asked Herbert. "Of course, follow me." They made their way towards the harbor and took an abrupt turn into an even narrower alleyway. "I made good time," said Herbert, looking at his gold watch. "Oh, really, did you?" laughed Faraj. "Yes, look, it's not even 6 o'clock. Faraj stopped and looked at the wind-up pocket watch. He turned the screw connected to the spring and tapped at the glass. The arm started turning again. Faraj set the clock to show the right time. "There you go, my friend." "Oh," said Herbert, disappointed. "I'm sorry." "Don't worry. Did you have trouble finding the mosque?" "It was a splendid idea to find each other by looking for the minaret tower, but the streets are so unpredictable. As soon as I thought I had arrived, the street would go off in a different direction. It took me quite some time to find a way leading all the way to the mosques." "That sounds a lot like the Casbah." They arrived on the other side of the alleyway, a larger and much busier street. Peddlers and merchants moved their wares in a long and disjointed street market. "Do you need anything? I have a cousin selling the finest carpets in Algiers. Or maybe a new watch." "Ha! Thank you, but I'm trying to plan a trip to the desert." Faraj stopped and looked serious for a moment. "Are you going, Herbert? Are you really?" he said, unable to hold back his smile. "Signed and paid for by the British Museum." "Ha ha! You crazy infidel! How did you do it?" "I told them I had a map," Herbert said with a straight face. Faraj seemed to lose his steam, replacing his joy with determination. "We shouldn't be talking about this in the streets. Come this way." Captain Ambroise of the French army moved his patrol through the busy harbor. Call it instinct or experience, he knew something was afoot. There was something about the merchandise the loaders moved. Why were there so many sealed crates? The majority of the goods shipped to Algiers was grain and oil. Barrels and sacks was a common sight, not unmarked board crates. "You there!" Ambroise, or whatever the fuck his name is. Ambrose. Let's just go with Ambrose. Ambrose called out to a loader on the docks. "What are you moving?" "I don't know. It's not mine," he answered. "I need to see the customs slip for these items immediately." The words fell on deaf ears. The men kept moving the goods. Ambrose followed the men carrying the crates with his eyes. They all moved goods from a single Sevek. A small and fast ship common in these parts of the world. Ambrose eyed the growing pile of crates on the docks. "Is there a problem, Captain?" asked a calm Arab behind him. Ambrose turned around to face the man. "Perhaps. Are these yours?" "Yes, they are." The man nodded to his workers to start loading the crates on a wagon. "Nobody touch the crates until I get some answers around here," yelled Ambrose. "My name is Abdul Kadir Bajij, and here's my papers, identifications, customs, and tariff slip." "Open one." "Captain, they have already been checked and accounted for by the customs. The customs controlled by your government." "I don't care. Open one." Ambrose gestured to his men. "Captain, you are performing a criminal act by opening that crate. It is none of your business." "My business is the Casbah and what you are trying to smuggle into it." "No need to get upset, Captain. It says so right on the customs slip. Foodstuff." The crate creaked as one of the soldiers cracked it open. "Captain," said one of the soldiers, "it's grain, sir." Bahij and Ambrose looked at the long open crate. It looked like a small coffin filled with grain. Ambrose noticed that Bahij held his breath for a moment before he exhaled. Ambrose turned around and kicked the open crate over. The grain poured out, exposing a stack of rifles. Fuck, man. Damn. Farage poured Herbert some tea and sat down on the pillowed seat. Herbert looked awkward sitting on the floor. Farage snickered at his attempts at keeping a straight back. "I'm glad my troubles entertain you. Posture is important, you know," labored Herbert. "You need more pillows?" "Thank you, I will be all right." Herbert glanced around the room. It was as comfortable as a drawing room, but it looked nothing like the ones found in Europe. "Locum?" Farage held out a plate of sweets. "Delights! Don't mind if I do," said Herbert, and picked up one of the sweets. "I forget, you are British. Turkish delights, am I right?" "Yes, that's what we call them." Herbert finished his delight and quickly went for another one. "Careful with the rose-raven ones. They are said to ease your mind, but also make you forget things." "I'm old. My memory's already abandoning ship," gestured Herbert. Farage sipped on his tea. He was happy having his friend in his home. It saddened him that they would have to engage in business instead of merriment. "Herbert, do you really think you would be able to pull this off?" "The expedition, most certainly." "What if you told your people in London?" asked Farage. "The truth, that we are going to find the legendary tomb of Tin Hanan." Farage was worried that Herbert did not fully appreciate the situation. "Herbert, I told you, it is bigger than that." "Farage, don't worry. I remember what you told me about Johann Weyer and his research. I know you think it's important." Farage smiled, feeling silly that he would ever doubt his friends. "You realize what this means? They could all be travelers. Even God could be a concept from the beyond, brought to us by missionaries like it was brought for the natives in Americas. Maybe they are speaking to him like an ordinary man. Wouldn't you like to speak with... No. Wouldn't you like to speak to... No, with the Almighty?" Herbert fell silent. He didn't know how to handle religion. The Church of England had never impressed him when he looked at beyond the borders of the kingdom, all religions became mythical. He had never found God, and it concerned him. He wanted to sympathize with Farage, but couldn't. "Well, I guess we'll find out." Farage calmed down once again, ashamed to have worked himself up so much, especially in front of a friend with such composure. That is a cool-looking drawing room. Herbert never got riled up, thought Farage. He produced a map and splayed it on the floor in front of them. It was a printed map of the northern desert. Farage had made extensive notes on it describing the exact route. Where is all this information from? Herbert said, pointing at the notes. From here and there, but Farage turned the map over, revealing the back covered in more sketches and notes. These are all from Wire. What is this? Herbert pointed at a star shape. Wire describes it as a marker. For what? Who knows? Farage pointed at another sketch of a circle and a hand. Now, this is the key. Ambrose ordered the men to fire at the fleeing rebels. Raiding al-Qadir Bahij's granaries and storehouses had stirred up a hornet's nest of resistance. Countless of French soldiers had reinforced the already crowded battle, and the harbor turned into a killing field. The rebels scattered and fled into the narrow streets. After them! Let's quench this rebellion once and for all! Screamed Ambrose, and pushed his patrol up the Casbah Hill. 4 young men suddenly invaded Farage's home. Herbert and Farage could hear them storm the entrance. Uncle, you must run! They are killing everyone! Shouted one of them from the other room. Farage got to his feet and hurried to see what it was all about. His nephew Baki came into the room. Baki pointed accusingly at Herbert. Uncle, what are you doing? He is one of them! No, Baki, he is not like them. He is English. He is European! Baki pulled a dagger and pushed Farage out of the way. Herbert didn't understand a word and feared for his life. Baki! Called one of the men from the other room. They are coming! We must go! Don't hurt him, please! Pleaded Farage. The patrol was waiting patiently for their compatriots to lure out the rebels. 2 ranks were formed, 5 men in front kneeling, 5 men in the back standing. They had their rifles ready and waited for Ambrose's saber to come down, ordering them to shoot. The 4 rebels emerged from the house with a white man held as a hostage. Put your weapons away or we kill this man! Yelled Baki, holding his knife demonstratedly next to Herbert. Please don't! Cried Farage from the side. Ready? Aim! Called Ambrose to his men. The threat turned the rebels frantic, but had little time to react. The street was narrow. They were trapped. Farage stepped out between the 2 sides. Stop this madness! Ambrose let his saber fall in a swift movement. Fire! Farage felt himself hit the ground. What is happening? Everything had gone silent. His eyes focused. Baki's lifeless body had collapsed on the ground. Just a few feet away. They had killed Baki. What a waste of life. He tried to look around to see the others, but he couldn't move his head. Had they all been killed? Farage realized he wasn't feeling well mostly because he didn't feel anything at all. He prayed that Herbert was safe. Farage, can you hear me? Yes, Herbert, I hear you, my friend. Are you all right? Herbert knew it was bad. He took Farage's hand and held it close to his chest. Herbert, you are unhurt, smiled Farage. Saved by the color of your skin. Herbert hung his head ashamed. Farewell, Farage, my friend. Farage exhaled. His head fell back on the ground. Herbert reached out to close his eyelids. Now, I am not good at fucking French. I don't know French, so forgive me. Degagis! One of the soldiers kicked Herbert. European! Yelled Herbert. Get out of here, stupid Englishman, before I shoot you! You just shot my friend! The soldier fired a warning shot. Herbert quickened and fled into the narrow Casbah streets. He ran like never before, back to the hotel and the safety of his luxurious hotel room. Herbert sat with his assistant Daniel in the hotel restaurant. Daniel noticed that Herbert was quiet this evening, but thought little of it. He picked up the week-old London Times and began to read. It was the same articles he had read the day before. I think I'll be turning in. Good night, Professor. Herbert mumbled and made a small gesture with his hand. Daniel left and went upstairs. Ambrose came up to the table and dropped the map in front of Herbert. He sat down in Daniel's seat and took a sip from his drink. Herbert didn't know what to think. He quickly reached for the map, but before he could collect it, Ambrose tossed a stone onto the map. The gilded table below resonated with a clang. Herbert looked around with a slight panic and then down at the map and the star-shaped stone. "What is that?" asked Herbert. "That is my question," he asked dryly. "You are lucky there are so few Brits in Algeria, Professor. What do you want?" "I want to know what it is, and why there is a picture of it, of the stone on the back of your map." Herbert was speechless. He really didn't know much. Tin Hanan, was that it? He didn't believe that there was more. It was what Tin Hanan might have been, where she came from, where she went. "I understand," said Ambrose. "You wouldn't want to tell me. We are not exactly best friends." "Know this. This stone has been in my family for something like 3 centuries. Ever since the siege of Calais, it has fueled the men in my family with great spirit, but also madness. You know, inspiration to the point of obsession. I never really bought into the whole thing, but I must admit seeing you with this fills me with a sense of purpose and closure." "Why are you giving this to me?" Herbert was dumbfounded. "I am not doing you a favor, Englishman. This is for my father and my father's father, and so on. It is on you now. Good luck." Herbert and the expedition left the next morning, heading off into the Algerian desert. He would never forget the pain of losing Virage. Losing. They spelled losing wrong. Or the strange meeting with the French officer. The map constantly reminding him of the sacrifices made, and the stone determination lasting centuries. We're halfway through, guys. With the blessing of a king. It was in the year of our Lord 1558 when Johann Weyer entered the liberated city of Calais in the very north of France. Many men with various esoteric knowledges had claimed that Weyer was responsible for the successful occupation, but little evidence has ever been presented to support such high claims. For all we know, his presence during this important period in Calais' history is nothing but circumstantial. What is known without doubt is that the city had been reconquered by France, and Queen Mary of England would mourn the loss of Calais until her death settled later that year. It was early morning that the sun flooded the city with bright orange light. Weyer's horse trotted down the muddy cobblestone streets. It was evident that the city had seen battle, not because of the ruined houses or the tattered banners hanging limp from the city walls. It was something in the air, as if all the tension city life creates had been washed away by a storm and left a great void behind. Weyer stopped and pulled back his hood, revealing his rugged face. He looked weary, and he always did. It was something he couldn't escape. It had nothing to do with his physique and everything to do with the things he studied. He carried an awful amount of truth on his shoulders, and he wished he could put it down, if just for a moment. He looked at his map, and back up at the skyline. The watchtower at Plage d'Amour rose above the commerce district to the west, and a great cathedral the English had built was just up ahead. He was close, according to his sources. Salute! 3 French soldiers on horseback further down the street demanded his attention. The short salutation was in itself friendly. The way it was said, The short salutation was in itself friendly. It was the way it was said which worried him. He waited for the men to approach. Greetings, he said in German. Guten Tag. The 3 men seemed taken aback by the choice of language and chortled. Wire noticed that one of the men's uniforms was slightly more decorated than the others. Quickly it became apparent that he was the leader of the patrol. Are you lost, Inlander? Asked the captain. So it seems, but not in the way you think. This is occupied ground, he yelled, not pleased with the enigmatic answer. Wire tried to weigh the situation. He didn't want to risk involving more innocent people, but it seemed like he would have to give in a little. He reached into his saddlebag. The soldiers quickly unsheathed their swords. Wire produced a scroll and unfolded it. I have a right to be here, he proclaimed. The captain remained skeptical, but guided his horse forward and picked up the letter. He read it carefully to not miss anything which would give him the upper hand. As the letter ended, he was left without leverage. The insignia of Henry II, his king, stared back at him. Oya c'est que le chaise lachi, he mumbled, frustrated. I mean, have you looked around yet for this church the letter mentions? I just arrived. I haven't had Monsieur, the captain interrupted. We will make sure you find it. Thank you. It might be necessary if you would just let me. The captain looked Wire squarely in the eyes. We will make sure you find it. The church looked old, much older and smaller than the giant spectacle the English had erected. Wire estimated it was from the 12th century, but it had been repaired extensively over the last few hundred years. A heavy double door of oak stood untouched by the violence which had plagued the city. Wire pulled at the handle, but found it locked. The captain pushed Wire aside and pounded at the door, yelling in undecipherable French. He put his ear to the door and listened. L'Anglaise, he said quietly to his men, and moved around the church. Wire kept his distance, not knowing what to expect. Suddenly the French soldiers breached a side door and rushed inside. There was a lot of yelling. Wire couldn't understand. He heard the captain demanding a surrender, and a couple of voices pleading for mercy. He reached the door and looked inside. 2 men sat on their knees on the church floor, begging. One of them was a priest, and the other one an English soldier. The captain ordered his men to look for others. There are no more, cried the priest. The soldier kept eyeing his sword just a few feet away. Wire stepped into the church and looked around. The captain's men seemed content that there were no more hiding inside the church. Do you have any use for them? No, it would be better if they weren't here. Vrace! The captain quickly stabbed his sword into the soldier kneeling in front of him. The blade thrust down through the shoulder all the way down into the abdomen. The soldier looked shocked and confused. As the captain pulled his sword out, the Englishman collapsed on the ground. Wire held his breath as he stared at the dying man. No matter how many strange things Wire witnessed, he never found anything so abhorrent as the acts of common man. The spontaneous cruelty and the indifference when making life-altering decisions for others was incomprehensible to him. Don't kill me, please! Cried the priest. Wire knew what the captain would do, so he did what so many others do when faced with cruelty. He closed his eyes and walked away. The crypt was unusually large for such a small church, but Wire was anything but surprised. He studied the space carefully. The statuettes by the walls had been removed completely. The zodiac centerpiece, most likely a bull, had been replaced by a single waist-high tomb aligned with the length of the room. The ceiling was bare but plastered, effectively hiding all evidence of the room's true purpose. It didn't matter, as long as the orb chamber was intact. The protruding stone slab in the far end wall gave every indication that it was so. The captain and his men ascended from the stairs. "Are you going to tell me what is going on here?" Wire tried to think of something clever and walked over to the tomb. Was a very important man." He brushed the dust off with his sleeve so he could see the man's name. "Pilgrimage, is that your story, Inlander?" The captain came closer. "You wait a few years in hope that the city shall fall into French hands so you could use your connection with the king to get permission to visit a tomb?" He was very important. The captain grabbed Wire by the neck and pushed him onto the tomb. "Look, Inlander, you better start talking. You think I care if you steal something from the church? Hell, I just killed the priest." What do you want?" gasped Wire. "I want my share." Wire looked into the captain's fierce eyes and saw nothing worth saving. He then looked at the other two soldiers and tried to weigh their worth. "Will I die," he thought, "if I do nothing? Can I save the other two somehow?" "All right, but you will have to help me." The captain released Wire from his grip and laughed. "Avec plaisir!" Sokol tried to swallow, but his nerves made his mouth dry, and his tongue felt swollen. He could not understand the language the captain and the stranger Johann Wire spoke. The two seemed to reach an agreement, and the stranger gestured him towards the stone slab in the center of the far end wall. Sokol followed the silent order. The stone wall looked ordinary enough, he thought, and tapped gently with his fingers on the surface. What was he supposed to find? The stranger approached and started to speak. He studied the edges of the stone. A faint decorative border of semi-precious stones fitted into the wall framed the larger stone slab. The stranger traced this border until he happened upon a strange star-shaped soapstone. He picked at the edges with his nail, but to no avail. "Help him, you fool," said the captain to Sokol. He remained in the dark. All Sokol knew was that they were about to desecrate holy ground. It couldn't be helped. The captain wouldn't accept him talking back. "We are at war, for God's sake. He will have me charged for treason, unless he kills me on the spot." Sokol sat down on the floor to get a better look at the star-shaped soapstone, unsheathed a knife, and began to peck at the edges. After a few moments it came loose, dropped out of its place, and into his hand. The stranger thanked him and pushed him aside. Sokol studied the peculiar stone in his hand. He felt a tremendous link to history, imagining himself standing on the same spot thousands of years ago without a trace of civilization to be found. Damn. That's a cool image. '16th century French soldiers. The stranger imitated a lifting motion and pointed at the stone. "S'il vous plaît," mustered the stranger. The French soldiers looked at each other and laughed. They couldn't possibly lift the stone by themselves. "Non, non, de rien," he said, and continued to speak in German to the captain as he gestured toward the hole he had been tampering with. The captain nodded towards the soldiers. Sokol and his compatriot lifted the stone without effort. It shined with the same ease as lifting one side of an evenly balanced scale. They smiled triumphantly and looked back at the pleased captain. The stranger looked full of doubt and pulled something from his robe. A metallic wail came from inside the wall. The stranger called out to the soldiers as the chain holding the counterweight snapped with a sonorous crack. The stone slab came crashing down, striking Sokol's shoulder. He fell down to the ground, almost passing out from the pain. "I can't move my arm!" cried Sokol. "Walk it off!" the captain denigrated. Fuck. Blech. "Look, he is securing it right now," he continued. The stone slab had stopped halfway down. The stranger had managed to place a metallic wedge between the wall and the stone as it fell. He produced another wedge from his robe and secured the other side as well. Sokol leaned back at the side of the tomb. His broken body ached, but resting helped a little. He watched the captain, the stranger, and his compatriot enter the opening. Sokol was left with a lantern, and he tried his best to see what they saw. He followed the torch's burning glow as the men ventured further into the thick darkness. A faint glimmer appeared. Sokol got excited. What was he missing in there? He could hear their distant voices. "On sphere? Magnifico!" The blue light was beautiful. Sokol wanted so badly to see what could be the source of such wonder. "What is it? What's going on?" he called. There was no answer to his question. He could hear them talk all excited, except the stranger. Why wasn't he as happy? Sokol felt uneasy and struggled into a stand. He limped over to the opening and noticed the star-shaped stone on the floor. He reached down and grabbed it. That's when he realized they had gone silent. "Hey guys!" he shouted. The room exploded in blue light and a torrent of sound. Sokol saw the captain holding an orb in his hands. It pulsated violently with light. They were all smiling except for the stranger. The stranger remained at the side, making strange signs with his hands. "Sorcery?" The orb forced a tempest of light and sound inside the chamber. The light was rich burgundy and the sound was like the lament of an old forgotten god. They all cried out in a maddening chant. The light took form of a bloating and pulsating mass which dug into their flesh. Wire, the stranger, pulled the orb from the captain's hands and stormed off towards the entrance. Sokol had tears running down his cheeks. He couldn't control himself. In fear, he watched his friends disappear into the brooding abomination. Wire came into the crypt and pulled out the first wedge. The second one was seemingly impossible to move. It was fixed to the architecture and simply wouldn't let go. The thing inside grew and pushed towards the entrance. Wire screamed in frustration as the wedge wouldn't release. Sokol unsheathed his sword and pushed Wire to the ground. He swung the sword around and struck the last wedge with a massive blow. The wedge shattered and the stone slab slammed into the floor, sealing off the chamber. Sokol fell to his knees, exhausted. He looked at Wire, pleading with his tear-drenched eyes. "Why would you show us this? I am sorry. Jesus désolé," said Wire. Sokol cried, still clenching the sword in his one good hand. Wire picked up the legendary orb lying next to the star-shaped stone, headed up the stairs, and stepped out into the recovering city of Calais. Waiting for the rain. Elise watched the digger fill the grave of her brother Frederick. He had been sick for almost a month before he finally passed away. Typhoid fever was not something she had heard of before, so it meant nothing to her, and at the same time, it meant everything. Watching her brother die had made her realize that she was miserable, not because of this particular tragedy. It was her life and the people she shared it with which made it so. Her father, Gustav, swallowed his sorrow the best he could. He loved his only son desperately, and his death was nothing he was prepared to handle. This was something which had become painfully clear to the entire family as they had watched Gustav fall into despair. Elise ran her hand up the other arm to comfort the sore muscle. Her father had pulled at her arm just before the funeral, as she wasn't moving quickly enough. "Why couldn't have been one of the girls?" whispered Gustav to his wife Agathe. They all heard him, but said nothing. Agathe just stood there, cradling her youngest child in her arms, with a faraway look in her eyes. Tears ran down Margarete's cheek. She was the oldest child now, and she tried to stay composed, but hearing her father wish something so terrible made it impossible. Elise also felt the sting of her father's words, and turned away. She looked over to the church and the town square beyond. Just behind the church, she saw a young boy sitting and digging in the dirt with his hands. She carefully removed herself from the funeral, knowing well she wouldn't be missed. Tinker, the black cat, sat on a narrow tombstone and studied Jacob's effort. Elise stroked the black cat, which arched from discomfort. The humid weather was already making the thick fur unbearable, and he certainly didn't need anyone touching him. "What are you doing?" asked Elise. Jacob looked up at his visitor. "I'm planting an apple tree next to Mother. It's going to rain soon, you know. Best time to sow before rain." Elise looked back at the funeral. It was still going on. "I'm sorry about your brother." "Thank you." Elise gazed up into the gloomy sky. A single drop of rain struck her cheek. She prepared for the rain to come crashing down, but it didn't. "I don't remember much about my mother, but I know she loved apples." Elise couldn't concentrate on what Jacob was saying. Her mind was preoccupied. "Do you ever think about running away from your family?" "I don't have much to run from anymore." "I mean this life, your master, the innkeeper." Jacob thought about it for a moment. He was content with the life he lived. He had a good stable where he could sleep, and a master which kept him fed and clothed. He looked at Elise, the sad girl in her Sunday dress, a friend he cared deeply for. "I'll go with you if you want." She giggled. "I know you would. You are my best friend," she said, blushing. Jacob patted the tiny mound of dirt covering the apple seeds. "Why won't it rain?" wondered Jacob. "Maybe God doesn't see anything worth crying about." "Elise, come over here this instant!" yelled her father. "I have to go, Jacob." "Elise, you won't leave without saying goodbye, will you?" She smiled back at Jacob. "I won't. I promise." The wagon rolled down the country road. Elise swayed with emotion, holding onto the side to keep herself on board. Gustav mainly used the wagon to transport hay for the cows, but it worked well for the family when visiting Altstadt. As Elise watched the landscape pass by, she found herself entertaining the thought of escape. Is it really possible? Could she find another life for herself? She imagined showing up at the stables next to the inn. The surprised look on Jacob's face as she tells him that she has run away. She played the scene over and over in her head. Jacob's reaction was always the same. A surprise turned into absolute joy. Then they would pack his things and head out, probably joining Gabriel on a journey to Königsberg or somewhere equally exciting. The wagon hit another large pothole, forcing her back to reality. Elise abandoned her daydream and sighed. Up ahead she could see her home, Gustav Zimmermann's farm. Gustav overturned the dining table in a swift movement, utensils and plates scattered over the floor. "Are we really going to eat on a day like this? Show some damn respect, Agathe." He shook her hard and pushed her to the floor. "You'll make me sick, all of you!" Agathe and her girls kept still, stiffened with fear, her baby crying in the crib. Gustav pulled at his hair, not knowing what to do with himself, and stormed out. Margarete helped her mother up onto her feet. "Mother, I have thought about it. I will marry Emmanuel after all. I think it will help out with the money. Agathe kissed Margarete on her forehead. I knew you would come to your senses. You are a good girl. Something I wish all my girls would be, she said, while eyeing Elise. Elise walked across the yard, climbed the fence to the pasture, zigzagged between the cows, and continued towards the great oak. The cows never did go all the way up to the trunk of the tree, as the ground was covered in nutty roots. She used to do a bit of climbing when she was younger, but now it had become a place for hiding the things which mattered most. Elise reached into the hollow trunk and pulled out a bundle, unwrapped it, and revealed several pieces of burned wood, a button carrying a decorative insignia, and a broken flintlock pistol. They were all things that she had found around Father's land, and she used to look at them and pretend they belonged to her. The things told so many stories. Sometimes she was the soldier helping a young maiden from a burning house. Sometimes she was the one being saved. It didn't matter anymore. She didn't need to live her life through an event which happened years before even her grandfather was born. She was going to have her own life now. Realizing she no longer needed the things, she wrapped the bundle and put it back in the hollow tree trunk. Elise had started to prepare her escape. She had packed clothes into an empty potato stack and was waiting for the right opportunity to fetch provisions in the kitchen. She paced up and down the yard, trying to get an idea of where the family members and the two farmhands were. It was important that no one knew about her plan, because they would stop her and punish her. Gustave was behind the house, chopping wood. She could hear it echo across the farm. The two farmhands were loading pails of fresh milk into the root cellar. Her older sister pumped water from the well. Finally, her mother stepped into the yard, carrying buckets to her sister. This is it. Hurry, she thought. With steadfast determination, she entered the house, opened the pantry, grabbed half a loaf of bread and a couple of potatoes. As her mother and sister returned with the water, Elise flung herself out the window. She quickly got to her feet, picked up a sack of provisions, and headed towards the pasture. Where do you think you are going? Yelled Gustave from behind her. Elise started to run. She heard her father coming behind her. She threw the sack over the pasture fence and began to climb it. Gustave's hand grabbed her shoulder and yanked her backwards. She hit the ground hard. Her head was spinning and she felt nauseated. Her vision slowly returned. Gustave was standing behind her. He still had his axe. It was hanging from his gripped right hand. What are you doing, Elise? Are you running away? Are we not good enough for you anymore? His voice was manic. She couldn't answer without feeling like she needed to vomit. It didn't matter. He wouldn't let her anymore. I get it. I get it now. You killed him. Your work is done. Elise rolled over to stand up. Gustave kicked her in the stomach and she fell backwards. I knew it. You are not my daughter. You are an earthling changeling. You had us all fooled, didn't you? With a violent crack followed by the rolling rumble of thunder, the sky opened and the rain began to drain the land. Elise struggled to get to her feet while heavy drops of rain smothered her. Gustave, her father, pushed his foot down on her throat. Please, Dad, cried Elise with her last breath. I will purge your wicked soul from this body, declared Gustave, raising his axe. As he looked down into his helpless daughter's eyes, he felt his madness slowly escape him. What am I doing? He thought. As Gustave's resolve disappeared, he removed his foot from her throat. Elise scrambled onto her feet and began to run across the yard and down the muddy road towards Altstadt. I'm sorry, I lost my head, Gustave shouted after her. Elise was not about to trust him again. She had lost her sack of clothes and provisions, but it would be all right, if only she could make her way to Altstadt and Jacob. Gustave was closing in fast. She wasn't getting away. He would kill her. Maybe not today, but eventually. She stopped, still feeling sick and out of breath. She looked back at her father. He had stopped further up the road. He was staring in her direction, but beyond her. She looked back at the road, and in the distance she could see a carriage coming this way. A great sense of hope filled her. Someone is coming. Someone is coming to help me. I just know it. The Outrider. Gabriel looked behind him to see how the carriage handled the winding forest road. The journey had been long these last few miles, and these last few miles had been the longest. The Englishman had chartered the carriage to take him from Bremen to Altstadt, near the eastern border of Prussia. The driver had not been thrilled by the prospect, but was swayed as the man kept offering more money. Gabriel worked as an outrider, following carriages on horseback, helping out with scouting paths, and keeping the peace. Like the driver, he had also been hesitant to embark on such a long journey. In the end, it was the destination which had enticed Gabriel to come along. Out of all the towns the Englishman had chosen, Gabriel's hometown, a small hamlet known as Altstadt. "It's just up ahead," Gabriel called back to the carriage. "You see, Englishman, I told you we'd make it before nightfall," cackled the driver. Gabriel looked up into the dark sky. They were cutting it close. The fiery red horizon was all that was left, and soon it would be snuffed out too. He waited for the carriage to pass, and followed it into the town. Jacob was far from being a man, yet already he worked the stables at Der Mühle, the only guest house in town. Altstadt was never particularly busy, not even during market days, and Jacob spent most of his time being bored. He walked across the town square to the community well. A black cat sat on the rough stonework, and he peered into the darkness in the world below. "Hi, Tinker. Found any mice lately?" The cat was unfazed by Jacob's presence and kept staring into the well. Jacob sighed and stroked the black cat's sleek fur. Suddenly he heard the rattling of a horse-drawn carriage in the distance and got excited. "Someone's coming!" he called into the guest house. The carriage thundered into the square and came to a halt in front of Der Mühle. The driver pulled the brake and climbed down from his seat, stretching his worn body with great pain, and swung open the carriage door. "Englishmen, we have arrived!" Out climbed a thin and considerably tired man. He muttered and gestured towards the luggage. "Allow me, sir," grumbled the driver, and pulled down the luggage. Jacob tugged at the leather straps and unbuckled the carriage horses. He noticed that the outrider following the carriage had stopped to hoist some water from the well. Jacob left the horses and walked over to the lone rider. "Gabriel, is it really you?" "Good to see you again, Jacob. I was beginning to think you'd never return. It's been well over a year." The innkeeper came out to greet the Englishman and make sure everything was in order. Feeling his master's eyes on him, Jacob sprang into action and hurried off with the horses toward the stable. "Come inside and have something to eat and drink," said the innkeeper. "You too, Gabriel." The light of day had passed, and Jacob was finally done. Exhausted, he sat down on the ground in front of the entrance. It had been a good day after all, and tomorrow was going to be even better. Drivers, outriders, and not to mention visitors, always had the best stories. When they had rested, he was going to hear them all. Tinker the black cat passed it by in front of him. "Hey, Tinker, come here. Come here, Tinker." The black cat glanced at Jacob and then continued on his way towards the church. "You're no fun." Gabriel stepped out of the guest house and sat down next to Jacob. "What are you still doing up?" "The horses. They take time," answered Jacob. "Here," said Gabriel and handed him an apple. "Thank you. You know, we don't get this kind of apple around here. The only ones we have are tough and sour. You should plant the seeds after you've eaten it, then." Jacob looked at it for a moment, smiled, and pocketed it. "Maybe I will." Jacob got up on his feet and brushed the dust off himself. He picked up a pebble and flung it through the air and hit the well. Gabriel chortled and patted his jacket and searched for his pocket watch. The Englishman had given it to him after coming to the conclusion that it was broken. Gabriel knew it was unlikely that he would ever get around to it, but he wanted to have it repaired. It was a nice watch, even though he couldn't figure out why it had the name Herbert engraved on it. He was fairly sure the Englishman said his name was Daniel. A terrifying yowl shook them both. It turned into a violent hiss. "Tinker?" said Jacob, and made his way towards the church. "Damn cats!" Gabriel wiped his brow. He put the watch back into his pocket and stood up. He heard Jacob call out to someone. "Hey there, what are you doing?" Gabriel moved closer and saw a dark figure shove the black cat into a sack. "Let him go!" The thing swung its arm around and struck Jacob. He fell to the ground. Gabriel ran over to Jacob. Blood seeped from his nose, and he was barely conscious. The thing struggled to keep the black cat inside the burlap sack. It was dressed in a large cloak, and it reeked of clove and sage. Gabriel found himself staring. It seemed unreal somehow. "Who are you?" he said under his breath. The thing rose and stretched its limbs. Its face remained hidden behind the cloak, but its mouldering hands were revealed in the silver moonlight. They looked twisted and unnatural, as if the bones had grown past what nature had intended. It shrieked into the night. The shattering cry woke Gabriel from his daze, and he grabbed Jacob by the hand and pulled the young boy towards the stables. Gabriel dropped the boy in the hay, grabbed the spare rifle from the carriage, and returned to the square. The thing had disappeared, but Gabriel felt a need to deal with it. He couldn't let it go. It reminded him too much of the thing his father went after. Gabriel returned to the front of the church where he had confronted the thing. A faint scent remained from the strange herb combination. He followed it down the side of the church and stopped to listen. A sudden cry from the black cat gave Gabriel a sense of direction, and he began to run. He passed the last house and emerged in a small pasture separating Altstadt from the forest. The dark thing shambled across the uneven ground. "Kill it before it escapes into the forest," his mind cried out to him. Gabriel raised his gun, took aim, and fired. The rifle stock struck his shoulder as it recoiled. The bullet rushed across the pasture and lodged itself in a pine tree. Herr Zell, the coper, had been startled by the muffled cry outside his home. He picked up a lantern and stepped outside. A man stood in the pasture with a rifle at his side. "What is going on out here?" Gabriel turned to face the startled townsman. What could he say? He reasoned. Tell him that a monster from his past had revealed itself? "That's the thing, isn't it?" shuddered Zell. Gabriel exhaled, relieved, and looked back into the forest. "It only comes at night. It's one of them lost souls. They come for the animals. They collect them." "I've seen it before, a long time ago when I was a boy," said Gabriel. "Are there really more than one?" Zell seemed to give it some thought. "Who knows? Maybe it's just the one," figured Zell. Gabriel looked up at the moonlit sky and then back at the dark forest across the pasture. "I could use your lantern." Gabriel ran through the forest. He was already regretting his decision. He was tracing the footsteps of his father, and he knew it. It was he who had broken the nut, who had brought the lantern that night and watched him step into the darkness, never to return. Gabriel waded across a shallow brook running through a ravine, climbed its rocky side, and continued even deeper into the forest. Suddenly he saw the thing, with its burlap sack shifting from side to side. It was heading for an opening, a cave. Gabriel dared a careful smile of triumph. He readied his rifle again and took aim. The shot echoed through the sleeping forest. The thing arched backwards in pain and dropped the burlap sack. Tinker the black cat tumbled out of the sack and left to safety up to a nearby tree. Gabriel watched closely from the distance, waiting for the thing to fall over. It didn't. Fuck! I think I'd just run at that point, dude, or just keep shooting. Instead, the thing shambled into the cave. Gabriel quietly cursed under his breath and pushed forward. He was shaking from fear and the cold water which had soaked his legs as he crossed through the brook. He tried to control his breathing, but he couldn't, and the air stuttered in and out of him. As he came closer, he noticed that the cave was glowing. Whatever that thing was, it had lit up the cave with fire. He glanced at Tinker, perched on a branch above him. The black cat seemed to peer into his soul, urging him to take vengeance. Gabriel peeked inside. The wounded thing picked up a torch from a metal holder fixed to the cavern wall. He could see that the tunnel was fitted with more holders, but this was the only one lit with a lit torch. The terrible thing turned around and looked directly at Gabriel, who was transfixed by its presence. Suddenly it dropped its torch, made a swift lunge at Gabriel, and thrusted its bony fingers into Gabriel's chest and lifted his body. He cried out in pain and tugged at its cloak, and with a cruel twist of fate, Gabriel unveiled its hideous face. Its skin had given weight of the flesh and collapsed like hot wax on a candle over the misshaped skull. Gabriel panicked, kicked with his legs, and smashed the lantern against the thing's face. The lantern cracked open, shards of glass rained on them both, and burning oil poured out onto the monster. He fell to the ground and watched the thing wrestle with the fire which had spread all over its body. Approaching lights flickered from inside the tunnel. There were more of them. Gabriel let out a desperate scream, scrambled out of the cave, and ran as fast as his wounds would let him. He fled through the dark forest, making his way back to Waldstadt. As he reached the brook, he stopped and felt the madness within him burn his senses. He stumbled into the water and submerged himself. The cold water calmed him. He drifted face down in the water, letting the gentle stream pull at his body. I can end it all, he thought. If I stay like this, it will all go away. Is this what Father had done? Maybe he wasn't killed by that thing. Maybe he witnessed the horror, ran away, and killed himself. He turned himself over and continued to float on his back. Orion, the hunter, ruled the starry sky above him. Gabriel refused to join his father and pulled himself up and out of the dark, cold water. Today, I planted an apple tree by Mother's grave. It was a nice day, but it started to rain in the afternoon. I met Elise. She was there with her family burying that mean brother of hers. Hopefully things will be better for her now. Otherwise, it was an ordinary day. Gabriel got the watch going, but he says it still doesn't work very well. He calls the watch Herbert since it says so on the lid. It makes me sad to think that Gabriel will be leaving soon. He said he will wait for the Englishman to come down from Brandenburg and then take him back west. I hope the Englishman enjoys himself so much that he never leaves the castle. Well, depending on which ending you take, he might not leave the castle. Alright, so that is the backstory to Amnesia. And I believe I just got a new follower. Bless thy fall. Thank you for the follow. Wow. I guess now it's time for me to fucking play a different game at this point, because, yeah. Wolf Tamer Griffo, hello. Need more ASMR, hello. Well, perhaps I could do more reading. Jonesy, that's Jonesy, okay, hello. Hello, Jonesy, hello, Wolf Tamer Griffo. Okay. Well, I have just finished playing Amnesia. What is up? What is up, you beautiful, beautiful people? Okay. Thank you for the follow, Wolf Tamer Griffo. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have just finished playing Amnesia on normal. I could go ahead and do it again on hard. I'm great. How are you, sir? Like, let me just show you how great I am. Let me just, I have Rainbow Six Siege, installed. Oh, you guys are at work. Okay. Well, if you get off work later, if you're home in the afternoon, perhaps we could play some games together while on stream. That could be cool. In the meantime, what would you like me to play? I have lots of games. You could give me a random request. I might have it installed. I might own it. You just internet. Oh, you just got internet. Oh, cool. Are you at home right now? Are you at work? Yandere Simulator. Okay. I don't have that installed. Lick something. Yeah, I licked my billy. Okay. I don't have Yandere Simulator installed, and I don't feel like paying Yandere Dev just to play it. Fucking... I do have other simulator games installed, like Surgeon Simulator. I was pretty good at that at one point. Then they added in a bunch more surgeries. Now I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing. No, I don't have Yandere Simulator. I have Surgeon Simulator, though. I have Euro Truck Simulator. I have... What other simulator games I have? I have this really shitty one called Hand Simulator. What else? Tabletop Simulator. Well, that's just we can do a bunch of cool shit with Tabletop Simulator, but I don't think we want to just be watching someone play Tabletop Simulator. So, what could I be doing right now? I've been doing a lot of Left 4 Dead 2 streams. Could play some Payday 2. Autobahn. Well, I could drive the Autobahn in Euro Truck Simulator. I mean, I haven't really played that game that much. It's supposed to be some kind of hyper-realistic thing. I don't know. Can you drive the Autobahn in Euro Truck Simulator? Let's see. Yeah, the Autobahn is in Euro Truck Simulator. Okay. You'd hope so. I have that game. Is it installed? No, it's not. Okay, but I will install that. That's like 15 gig. Last played 2015. Wow. Wow, I just have not touched that game. Okay, well, we will set that up to install. I unfortunately don't have Euro Truck Simulator installed. What other driving games do I have, though? Let's take a look. I'm going to share my Steam. I don't know what that is. It's just like a default background. I can change that. Let me see. It says it's called Kappa, so I guess that's the Kappa face. Simulator. Oh yeah, I could do that. Okay, that works. Surgeon Simulator. Last played 2019. Wow, I lost that one too. Fucking love that game. It's really cool. Alright, operations. Bob, heart surgery. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking murder this guy. Okay. Hello. Hello, sir. Fuck. I have forgotten the controls. Okay. That's right. Okay. Let's get out of here. And let's just, yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, that's, yeah, we got some nice bloodlust there. Fucking 45 mils per second. We'll get the hammer. Pick up the fucking hammer. Please pick up the fucking hammer. Okay, we'll get the drill. We'll get the drill. No, I guess we won't get the drill. Oh, God, it's been so long since I've played this. We'll get the bone saw. My watch has come off. Fucking shit. He's gonna die before I even get to fucking hack him up. Damn it, pick up the fucking thing. Okay. I got the thing. I got the bone saw. Fucking, yep, let's get his ribcage off. Fucking, yep, ribcage is off. Fucking, and he's dead. Cool. Oh, you can't see gameplay? Rip. Oh, that's so awkward. Okay. Well, let me just get rid of this. Okay. Alright, let me just get rid of the screen share thing. Maybe not. Oh, that's right. My bad. I did the thing. Okay. Uh. Oh man, what the fuck? Well, I'll just put this in then. Oh my god. Bruh, this is so fucking... Why is it doing this? Why do you hate me so much? I can't even put... Fucking fine, I'll do that. Okay. Now can I change it? Alright, it's technically, yeah, it's Surgeon Simulator 2018. Alright, there we go, that works. We'll close that. And we'll open Surgeon Simulator back up again. And hopefully you'll actually be able to fucking see what I'm doing. I can see. Oh, so it is good. Okay, okay. Yes, that is working. Cool. Okay. Alright, now to kill this guy. Fucking get this shit off here. Fucking, where's the hammer? There's the hammer. Fucking fuck off, Baker. Alright, we've got the hammer. Now we're fucking smashing the shit out of him. I wasn't gripping the hammer properly. Now the hammer is gone. I guess we'll use the drill now. Yep, we'll drill into him. Yep. We'll just leave that there. We'll get the saw. Fucking pick up the saw. Fucking don't prick yourself on the needle. Okay. You got the saw. Fucking. Yep. Okay. We're doing surgery, guys. We're gonna save you. We're gonna transplant on you, dude. Fucking. Don't worry about it. I'm a professional. I don't have a PhD, but I have all these tools. I have a heart in this fucking thing. I think I've got enough bones. Maybe I don't have both of you. Fucking. Oh, that's the wrong needle. Oh no. Oh, that's the wrong needle. Oh, you're gonna bleed out. You're gonna fucking bleed out because I've picked up the wrong needle. This one increases blood thing. Why am I still fucking pricking you with it? This is just making it less. This is making it so much worse. Ah, you're so fucking dead. I'll give you a heart. I didn't even get to give you. Okay. It was going so well. Murder 1 minute 43. Should we try? Should we actually like do the surgery? I might even be able to surgery like the time. I mean, you know, let's just try that actually. If I remember, that's fucking. Let's get. I learned from Dr. Nick. He is a big inspiration of mine. I don't have a blender in my room, but I do have paraphernalia, like a water pipe for smoking marijuana. I don't drink martinis, but I do get super high. So there is that. Yeah. Okay. So far, there's no loss rate. This is good. We haven't killed him yet. Oh, we've got some loss rate. That's fine. We've got that side of the ribcage done. He's got some blood left. We need to adjust our grip though. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, thank you for not doing that. Okay. Alright, we got the ribcage free. Now we've... Okay, we don't need that anymore, actually. Fuck off, coffee mug. I said fuck off, coffee mug. Oh my god, coffee mug. Can you please fuck off? Thank you. Okay, now we'll pick up the syringe. I said we'll pick up the syringe. Okay, we have the syringe. Now we'll stop from bleeding out. Alright, did stab him a bunch of times, but that's okay. We'll pull out his lungs. He's not using them right now. It's not like he needs that. We unfortunately did not keep my time in the same time that we murdered him. But hey, he's still alive right now. He might not be anymore since he doesn't have lungs anymore. Hey, he wasn't using them before that. He's intubated. Fucking, we've got machines breathing for him. We just need to replace the heart. That's our job. We don't care about this other shit, like the liver. Fucking get that shit out of here. That shit's for fucking pussies. Fucking hammer. I don't think we need that right now. We would have needed that if I lost the fucking saw. Let's get that out of here though. Let's put scalpels. This is what we need right now. Okay, we are just barely holding the scalpel. We need to get that out of here because he's not using that right now. Let's need that. Let's just get that out of the way. Stomach. I'm slicing him up. Slicing him, dicing. Fucking get out of there, stomach. Alright, stomach is free. Alright, now I get the heart free. Okay. Alright, we've sliced most of the aorta. Alright, the heart's free. Okay, the heart's free. Get off me, scalpel. Let's get the stomach out of there. We don't need the stomach. Get out of there. And let's get the old heart out of there. Fucking, come on. Come on. Get out of there. Get out of there. Fuck it. Get out of there. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh god! I don't think I can that. Oh, maybe I can actually. Maybe. No. I think I can. Yeah, that's the heart. Oh wait. Oh. I might be able to reach it. Come on. Give me the heart. It is right fucking there. Come on, he's bleeding out. Come on. No! Ah, shit. Okay. Alright, we lost the heart. So he's gonna bleed out. We will fucking, you know what? I will show you some bullshit that you can do. Cause, accidentally injure yourself. For example, the green one, makes you hallucinate, and the blue one, cures that, but it also increases. So don't use that on the patient. If you fucking take something metal and stick it into, say, this electrical outlet over here, you'll get shocked and your controls get reversed. So you can have reverse controls with fucking fuck vision and the audio just doing all sorts of weird shit. And if you do that you get an achievement called I Am a God. I actually already had that back in 2013 when I was a sweatlord at this game. I fucking tried my hardest to get it. And honestly, it was not worth it. It took too long. In order to make the achievement, you need to fucking shock yourself and prick yourself with the needle within 5 seconds of surgery, and then you have to complete the surgery successfully. Controls. So, good luck, asshole, pretty much. You need to shock yourself and prick yourself in fucking 5 seconds, and then deal with the broke-ass controls. Like, if you can't do the surgery normally, imagine doing it while the controls are completely reversed and you can't see anything. See, we're gonna try and do that, actually. So we need to pick up one of these things, jam it into the electrical outlet. Now our controls are reversed, and now we need to prick ourselves with this green needle. See, I took too long. See, I wouldn't have got the achievement then, because I took way too long trying to fucking do everything. Alright, come on. Can I myself, please? Alright, thank you. Now, imagine doing the surgery like this. I mean, look, I'm gonna move my mouse to the left. Now I'm gonna move it to the right. See, control completely reverse. I mean, at least your fingers still do what they're supposed to, but as far as the mouse goes, it's completely reversed. Actually, move your hands. Oh shit, that's actually not where I wanted to put that. We're already off to a bad start. Oh, and I didn't put that audio filter on. The fucking game did. Oh my god, dude. Okay. It's random twitching as well. Like, I'll just let go for a second. I'm not doing this. So yeah, it was already, like, not precise and fucking the place. Imagine doing controls reversed and that the whole time. Oh god, pick up the thing, please. Can I pick up the thing? Okay. I don't want that. I don't want that. That's so fucking hard. I can't believe I actually did this once. Aw, man. Fuck. Okay, well that only gets rid of the annoying visuals and the audio. Honestly, you know what? Fuck the visuals. Be terrible. You know what? Okay. Whatever. We'll just deal with it. Okay. So, okay. Gonna have to saw your ribcage open. Whoops, that's not your ribcage. Jesus Christ. Fuck! Definitely not your ribcage, sir. I am so sorry. Oh god, this is difficult. I don't know how the fuck I did this back in the day. I must have been such a fucking sweat. I do have like some super rare achievements. Like they're on my Steam shop. The achievement for doing this successfully is called I Am a God. So I'm a god. I don't know. It does. Oh. Man, he's gonna bleed out. Man, I actually need to use the needle. Oh no, it fell off! Okay. That's not the needle. Put down the bone saw. Needle. Oh my god, I can barely fucking see what I'm doing. Oh god. The fucking backwards controls are so goddamn confusing. Oh, I can't grab the needle. I just have to work quickly. Fuck, I'm so gonna die. works, that works. Alright, he's still got plenty of blood for now. Ah, that's not gonna help, though. That is definitely not gonna help. Okay. Get that fucking bone down there. Oh, God. Ah! Oh, God, he's gonna fucking die. Yep, he's so fucking dead. There is no fucking way I'm doing this properly. Oh my god, dude, please just cut the thing. He's so dead. He's so dead. He's so fucking dead. Okay, the fucking ribcage is free. Okay, the ribcage is free. Ah! Get it out of there! Get it out of there! I can't pick up the needle. I can't stop it from bleeding out. I just have to finish this before. Ah! Grab the lung! Grab the lung! Grab the lung! Oh god. Oh god. Reversed. Fucking. God! Get out of there! Okay. Okay. Okay, get the liver out. Get the liver out. Get the liver out. Get the liver out. Get the fucking liver out! Okay. Now you stop getting. Oh, no. Okay, that'll work, that'll work. Oh god, he's so fucking dead. That's. I need to cut that free. Fuck! 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 Get the fuck in there! Oh no, he's just dead. He's just dead. We just watch the man slowly bleed to death. Stop, folks. Oh, my hands are actually getting strained. This fucking. Oh, fuck. Yeah, nice. Alright. Let's not try that again, unless maybe someone asks very nicely. I'm not gonna try that again. At least not. Oh my god, I thought the controls were still good. It's fucking. That's not where I wanted to go. Oh, get off, please. Get off. Alright, thank you. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here. Let's take this. Put this here. Oh, that's not his ribcage. Please, please. Okay. Out. Okay. Whoops. Last rib. Alright, ribcage is free. We don't need this. Get the ribcage out of here. Get this fucking garbage out of here. Alright, you don't need this. You don't need this fucking trash. Get this out of here. Ugh. Disgusting. Alright, let's get. Alright. I love you, Hammer. I don't need you right now. Perhaps for brain surgery. seems to be the fastest way to get the skull open without killing people. Whoops. I'm stabbing you. I'm stabbing you. Okay. Okay, we got the stomach. Okay, we got the heart. Alright, heart's cut out. Okay. We just need to get the heart out. Alright, heart is out. Alright, don't fuck up grabbing the new heart. Alright, successful surgery. Oh, and we didn't put the heart in properly. Okay, please. Oh my god, dude, get in there. Hey, cool. Looks fine to me, I'm sure he'll live. Very cool. Alright, we've done heart surgery. He doesn't have a rib cage or lung anymore, and we cut his esophagus off. And he's still just not connected anywhere. So, all in all, successful surgery. Bro, I did that in 2 minutes 40 before. Okay, okay. How about we do some kidney surgery? Yeah, God. Perform a double kidney transplant. Okay. Okay. Scalpel. Alright, now you see that red part in the intestine? That's where we need to cut. Whoops. Alright, that one's cut. We'll do... Yep, that's cut. I think it's here. Nope, okay. Where do we cut the other side? Oh, there. Okay. No. I forget where to cut the other side of the large intestine. I think the other side of the small intestine is here, though. Okay, it's attached to this. Large intestine. Oh, we got the large intestine out. Okay. I'll just pull that out. Yep. We don't want the hammer. Not this time, anyway. Let's get the small intestine out of there. Okay. Get those out here. Don't need that. Get out of it. Okay. We don't need the liver either. It's not like that's doing anything important. Fucking get the liver. Fucking get the liver. Get the... Oh my god, pick up the liver, please. Please pick up the liver. Okay. Now I have that scalp back. Let's get the stomach out of here. We need a better grip on that. Dig it up. Okay. Alright, we got the stomach out. Got the kidney out. Alright, left one's out. Right one's out. Alright, now to actually fucking put those pieces of shit up. Easier fucking said than done. He's gonna fucking bleed to death. Oh, we pricked ourselves. Drop that in there. He will need that. That didn't actually do anything bad for me. Fucking please. Yep, stop bleeding, sir. Alright, thank you for not bleeding out. Alright, now I prick myself with this so that I don't go on a psychedelic trip. Thank you. Okay, now to get everything out of here that we don't need. Fuck off. Alright, that kidney's moved. Alright, that's in a good spot. We can get that out of there. Please. 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 Okay, fuck off. Okay, to get this one out. fucking... Oh my god. Please! This is so hard. Fucking yeah. I'm gonna drop the new ones in and it fucking works. Alright. Let's still that there. And let's try one. Put that there. Alright, game doesn't like that. Alright, it looks like I really do need to get that out of there. Okay. Please! Oh, did I grab it? Yes, I got it! Okay, get the fuck out. Alright, now I just need to move that. Just move that. Just move. Oh, God. Please move. Please move. Please. Please, Mr. Kidney, sir. I beg of you. Yes. Please sit there. Yes! Okay. Okay. We did the thing. We did the thing. Cool. Brain surgery! Alright, let's see if how fucking quickly we kill this guy. Alright, first thing I like to do is... and just say, fuck you. Oh, he's dead. Okay. Well, 14 seconds. Oh, dude! Euro Truck Simulator is done. Dude, my network's pretty quick, actually. Alright, well, fuck brain surgery. Let's play fucking... let's have fun on the Autobahn in Euro Truck Simulator 2. Okay, so Euro Truck Simulator just finished. Let's go ahead and play that. Wow, fucking, it supports a lot of shit. Okay, let's just open the normal one and see how that works. Failed to initialize. That's promising. It did not open. Okay, well, let's try with DirectX 11. Did not open. Okay. Let's try OpenGL. Did not open. Something appears to be wrong. Verify integrity of the thing I just fucking downloaded. Riveting gameplay, I'm sure. Alright, please open. Launch in safe mode? No. Okay, I didn't like that. I don't know what's wrong, but it doesn't want to work. Maybe it's because I'm streaming. I mean, some games just, like, do weird shit when I'm streaming. Like, when I was playing Amnesia, I actually had a save file before that, but it erased everything, including my profile, so I had to start from scratch. And when I was playing the movies, the autosaves wouldn't work, and the fucking, the game wouldn't save. Like, I couldn't find the drive to save the game to. All files successfully validated. Okay, so what the fuck? Hey, Savage Sniper God, what's up? I'm just trying to get Euro Truck Simulator working, because for some reason it won't work. Not launching. Okay, we'll just do the regular thing. Let's try running it as administrator. Alright, fucking... browse files. That's a lot of DLC I got. Okay. Where the fuck's the... Okay. Run as administrator. Still crashed. Okay. Well, we'll just fucking work out why that's not doing that later. How about... ooh. Now that's a game I could play. What do you guys think about Half-Life, the original one from '98? Yeah, Half-Life's cool. Go 2? Ooh. I prefer Half-Life 1. Tell you, we'll leave it up to a vote. Half-Life 1 or Half-Life 2? Okay, actually, no, we'll leave it up to Google. Well, Half-Life did set the standard for a lot of first-person shooters. Does have a kind of long as fuck intro, but the game is really fucking cool. Half-Life 2 is much newer, came out 2004, and runs on the same engine that Left 4 Dead runs on. It runs on Source. Yeah, I mean... I just prefer the first game. I'll play it on hard at least, because, like, yeah, I mean, it's hard either way. I mean, I would actually argue that Half-Life 2 is harder than Half-Life 1 on hard, but they're still fucking brutal games. Alright, can we see gameplay? Can we see the menu? Yes, we can. Okay. Very cool. We will play on hard. Actually, just in case no one has never actually seen Half-Life 1 before, let's just go through the training room, just because it's kind of cool. Shows you a lot of mechanics in the game, which carry over to Half-Life 2 as well. We'll play on hard, though.
Hello and welcome to the Black Mesa Hazard Course, where you will be trained in the use of the hazardous environment suit. I am your holographic assistant. Let's begin by stepping into your suit. You can see it suspended up ahead of you. If you see one of these buttons...
We've got the suit.
Welcome to the HEV Mark IV Protective System for use in hazardous environment conditions.
Man, I just realized I'm completely covering up my health, just like sitting right here. Oh well, I'll just tell you if I'm fucked up or not. Alright, will this thing open, please? It's the free man, yes. Free the free man. Ah, shit. She basically says, like, moving around can be slightly disorienting,
The first move we will practice.
First move we'll practice is jumping. Next we'll do crouching.
You will now duck under the next set of obstacles.
Very good. I hardly noticed you.
Now we will combine the two.
Now we will combine skills.
Good work. You look prepared for the next stage.
And then
To
here,
get into these
we do
fights,
them
you
at
have
the
to signal
same
your skills like a
time.
duck jump. You'll want to stand.
As a kid, I really did not understand how that worked.
Nice job. Walk directly
Alright,
into
go
the
up the
ladder.
ladder. Sloth's ladders are terrible.
The next three
jump.
jumps get harder.
Jump.
Keep
Fuck.
trying. You'll get it.
Jump. Jump. Ah, okay. I'll just crouch jump. That'll work. Jump. Jump. Jump.
If you keep falling short, you might be jumping too soon.
Shut up, Gina. Okay, look. Now I'll do it without looking. Ah, fuck it. Okay. No, that won't work. Okay, let's just fucking do it. Oh my god! Why the fuck did that miss? Yeah, fucking...
Great
Alright,
work.
fuck
Now
you.
there's one more style
Long
of jumping
jump.
requires its own charging module.
Long jump manual.
Nice
It's
job.
pretty fucking cool, actually. Extremely useful in Zen, except the game doesn't tell you about that until the fucking end of the game.
Please start the
Alright,
next.
go up the ladder, fucking
Now
jump
that
down,
you're
break
up
your
there,
legs,
there's
ow.
only one way down. Find the target on the floor below. You
Alright,
and
heal
find
yourself.
med kits like this one throughout the black
take
Mesa
any
complex.
damage from the
To
fall,
restore
Now,
your health,
okay,
administer medical
lots of shit
care
is
at the
fucking
next
talking
place
at
your
the same
use
time.
key. Your health will recover gradually until you are at full health or the kit is depleted.
Alright, can you
Once the
let me
light
go,
goes
please?
out, a med kit cannot be reused.
Alright, so on like every difficulty up to hard, easy and normal, medkits restore 50 health. On hard, they restore
To
25.
spin that bridge, walk up to the control wheel and press the use key. Fantastic. Sometimes you'll need to rely on more than just your suit to get through a tight place. Try jumping. You can't push the obstacle out of your way. You might try
Pull the
pulling.
box out.
To
Pull the
pull a
box
box,
out.
move up
Fucking
to it
get
and
out of
press
here.
your use key.
Alright, fucking shove the boxes into each other. Fucking, it's a little glitchy because this was 1998. Fucking deal with it. Alright.
Finally,
Herbert, break shit.
Activate your suit flashlight for the next area.
Alright, go through the thing. Get the power. Yeah, now on easy and normal,
Remember,
those power
the
fucking
flashlight
crates
drains
give
power,
you
so switch
15
it off
power
when you
each.
don't
On
need it.
hard, they give you 10. Alright.
Welcome to
Ah, fucking high res textures. Ew, get that shit out of here. Ew! No! Fuck off. No! No! No high res textures. No, 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 no. Fucking... Oh, dear God, what the fuck is happening? Oh, God damn it, what the oh my God, what the fuck is happening? Dear God. Everything's wrong. Okay. Let's just, I think that quick saved. Jesus fucking Christ. If that showed up at all, like, the screen was, like, torn in half, and the other half was the same half as the first, but upside down. So I was seeing... Oh, God, it was so fucking weird. Okay. Hopefully the game doesn't do that again. Let's make doubly sure those high-res textures are off. They are. Good. Alright, the quick save worked as well. Okay. Let's grab all of the things.
You'll have to hit every target in order to complete the course. But if you miss the first time, don't worry. It will come around again. Try to reload during pauses rather than waiting to run out of ammunition at a critical time. To fire your grenade launcher, use your alternate fire button. Certain targets will break only when hit by grenades. Commencing sequence in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your HEV suit monitors blood. Catch your breath. You will see the blood oxygen indicator on your suit. This is the charging unit for your hazardous environment. When you are running low on power, step up. If you pass through fire, radiation, activate the Geiger counter and radiation display. Biohazards are also indicated with the luminous icon.
No! No!
Please advance to the next area.
I'm actually gonna like move myself because like I'm directly in the way of the health where it's in the bottom left where I am. Let's just move me out of the way here. Let's just yeah, I can chill up here, that's fine. Alright, now you can see my health down there. So I took a little bit of damage. Nothing too bad.
Lead a security guard.
Now, the stupid thing about this is, in the Black Mesa remake, you get disarmed of your weapons if you let yourself. You can also just, like, install that lets you not do that and kill everyone. There's absolutely nothing stopping you once that door opens to just fucking go on a killing spree and murder everyone like this. Everyone's dead, the turrets are down, no more security is after me, and I can just go on my merry way after killing 4 people.
Press your use key to engage the train.
Because that guy already opened the door, he's served his purpose, I can just kill him, and now I'm still allowed to leave. It's fucking stupid.
Black Mesa hazard course. You are now fully certified for use of the HEV Mark IV protective system.
Very cool, okay, so now I will actually, you know, play the fucking game. There's a long as fuck intro, but remember, this is 1998 when this came out, so this is extremely cinematic for the time.
This automated train is provided for the security and convenience of the Black Mesa Research Facility personnel. The time is 8:47 a.m. Current topside temperature is 93 degrees, with an estimated high of 105. The Black Mesa compound is maintained at a pleasant 68 degrees at all times. This train is inbound from Level 3 dormitories to Sector C test labs and control facilities. If your intended destination is a high security area beyond Sector C, you will need to return to the central transit hub in Area and board a high security train. If you have not yet submitted your identity to the retinal clearance system, you must report to Black Mesa personnel for processing before you will be permitted into the high security branch of the transit system. Due to the high material routinely handled in the Black Mesa compound, no smoking, eating, drinking, are permitted within the Black Mesa Transit Zone. Please keep your limbs inside the train at all times. Do not attempt to open the doors until the train has come to a complete halt at the station platform. In the event of an emergency, passengers are to remain seated and await further instruction. Disabled personnel should be evacuated first. Please stay away from electrified rails and proceed to an emergency station until assistance arrives. This evening at 1900 Level 3 facility. Semi-finals for high security personnel will be announced in a separate secure access transmission. Remember, more lives than your own may depend on your fitness. Do you have a friend or relative who would make a valuable addition to the Black Mesa team? Immediate openings are available in the areas of materials handling and clearance security. Please contact Black Mesa personnel for further information. If you have an associate with a background in the areas of biotechnology or other high-tech disciplines, please contact our civilian division. The Black Mesa Research Facility is an equal
Century is
a reminder to all Black
building.
Mesa personnel. Regular radiation and biohazard screenings are a requirement of continued employment in the Black Mesa Research Facility. Missing a scheduled urinalysis or radiation checkup is grounds for immediate termination. If you feel you have been exposed to radioactive or other hazardous material in the course of your contact your radiation officer immediately.
Oh God, I tripped on the tram.
Work smart. Your future depends on it. Now arriving at C test facilities.
That looks like it's running like crap.
Please stand back from the automated door and wait for the security officer to verify your identity. Before exiting the train, check your air.
The system just died.
Morning, Mr. Looks like you're running late.
Man, why does the gameplay not look like that to me? I could see it in the stream playback. What the fuck? Just see if I can fix this.